What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, and we are back with another episode of Happy Mondays, people.
Come on.
Come on. England last night. We've got a certain announcement to talk about today as well. Fantastic times, mate. The country staying up till 5 in the morning to see England get through to the quarterfinals in the Azteca. They said it wasn't possible, and the boys did a fantastic job last night. Every single one of them put in a major shift for the country, and we were partying through the night last night.
Who out there is not at work today? I want to know. Put in the chat if you're supposed to be at work right now and you've called your boss or you've sent a text to your boss at 5 a.m. saying, not going to be able to make it in tomorroh. Let me know in the chat.
Obvious sickie ever.
Yeah, absolutely. What a night. I think we all got rewarded for staying up, although to the early hours, because what a game. That's a game that's going to be known as a classic for years to come. We'll remember this game, I
tell you what, I was watching it, right? I was like, when the kickoff got delayed for the hour from 1 till 2, I was flagging a little bit, and I was like, oh my God, am I really doing this? Am I really staying up till 2 in the morning to watch the game? But as soon as the game kicked off, well, I mean, when it really kicked off for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes in, and it was proper captivating, man. Proper. What a game. Didn't feel tired one bit during the game because it was just so intense.
And what's this about the altitude? Altitude, schmaltitude. Didn't make a bit of difference, did it?
Altitude, smaltitude, Azteca, schmazteca.
Exactly, all this rubbish.
I mean? It's all rubbish.
All the English media like to hype up all these things. At the end of the day, I think without the red card, we would have won that more comfortably. I think the red card, obviously put us in the shit a bit, and then we can see the penalty, and all of a sudden, it was a very tense finish. But I thought we dealt with the circumstances brilliantly. I thought Tuchel managed the game brilliantly, actually.
Yeah, look, I think it could have gone one or two ways. So I felt like Mexico were really knocking on the door towards the end of that first half, and half-time came at a really good time for us because I think it was going away. That was England were really under pressure and they could have conceded. But we went into half-time at 2-1. And after that, the game was managed perfectly. But I would say, like, when Kane goes off, I'm thinking, God, if we concede here, we are in deep trouble. Deep trouble. I just got flashbacks to that Real Madrid-Bayern Munich game when Musiala and Kane went off and Real Madrid turned it around. And then you're thinking, wow, why has Kane and Musiala gone off? And if that would have happened, but it didn't happen. So it doesn't matter. And England are through to the quarterfinals, and not even Brazil. Norway awaits us this weekend.
Wow.
In the quarterfinals. You could, I mean, if I would have told you before the tournament started, Mexico in the last 16, Norway in the quarterfinals, you would have taken that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if I would have rather faced Brazil or Norway, judging by watching the game, albeit I was watching the game. I wouldn't say like Norway were by far the better team. It was a very close game, wasn't it? Brazil-Norway. They made a few mistakes. Brazil could have scored.
It's the star quality up front, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you know, Vinny had a few chances. He could have scored. So it was kind of 50-50. And it kind of both teams were very scared, I felt. They were both kind of waiting for the other team to make a mistake. And obviously Haaland got that goal on it, and it right near the end, and that completely swung it in their favour. But I'm watching that Norway team. I ain't scared. They got Haaland, but we can take them. I really think we can take them. We're obviously going as favourites. But we've got a real big opportunity to get to that semi-final now, I feel. It's not going to be hard to keep Haaland contained, but we got Harry Kane.
It will be very hard.
We've got Kane. That's not going to be easy either for them to contain.
That's what this game is going to be dubbed, isn't it? Kane against Haaland. I believe Kane is the better striker, better than Erling Haaland. But
but we got a better team around that.
Yeah, for sure. I would just say bit of a worry at right back. We don't have any right backs. Jed Spence came in. He did very well last night, Jed Spence, not going to lie. I think he was so solid at left back. He really was. So look, everyone performed admirably well. And if we keep growing on that performance, then we'll have no problems against Norway. We just need to keep getting better and better. You know, Norway's going to be a tougher test than Mexico. I mean, I say it's going to be a tougher test than Mexico. You know, we went to the Azteca in their backyard with millions of fans behind them, and the atmosphere was intense. The atmosphere, it was a proper atmosphere, wasn't it? Probably the best atmosphere we've seen this World Cup.
Yeah,
wow, it was incredible. And for England to go there under those circumstances, yeah, from that aspect is going to be more difficult, the Mexico game. But Norway have more quality than Mexico. So from that aspect, the Norway game is going to be more difficult. And I feel like Norway are just riding like the crest of a wave right now. They've looked good, so good throughout the whole tournament. So don't get it twisted. It's going to be a difficult game. And when you're coming up against someone like Erling Haaland, yeah, fine. It's not unbeatable and we can beat them. It's just something that you need to be extremely wary of because our defence haven't looked that great this tournament, apart from in this game against Mexico at times.
But also, Norway's defence hasn't been brilliant, I don't think, as well. I think they've conceded quite a few goals. So, look, I don't think we should go into that game with any fear. They've got Haaland, but we've got Bellingham and Kane, who are absolutely smashing it so far this tournament. We've got the better team. We've got, better players all around them. So if we just play our game, we play to our best. That's all we got to do.
It'd be a big upset if we go out to Norway. It'd be a big upset. So let's get the job done. This weekend, was it 10 p.m. kickoff Saturday night?
Yeah.
So a bit of a more palatable one than bloody 2 in the morning with a delay of an hour to make it 2 in the morning. Madness. But look, everyone needs to get their England jerseys, don't they? There's only one place to get it from, that is OK Jersey. 15% off. Get your World Cup jersey. And I've worn my OK Jersey England top for every single England game apart from the Ghana game. If that doesn't tell you it's a lucky shirt, then I don't know what does. So get yours today. 15% off using our code Spurs15. Yes, the code still is live. The new Spurs shirt's not on there just yet, but they will be on there very, very soon. All your retro gear, top quality, people. So get yours today. People saying, this is the year. This is the year.
It's coming home, people. It is coming home.
So you want to get the shirt. You want to get the shirt, people. So
get it before the final.
So get yours. Link in the live chat. Code in the live chat. Get yours today. But we've been waiting for this day for a week, about half a week now, saying announce Tonali, announce Tonali, announce Tonali. Well, Tonali has finally been announced this morning. He's here. It's wonderful. He's beautiful. And our record signing is officially through the door at Tottenham Hotspur. Let's go and see how Tottenham announced it. And every transfer so far, they've brought in someone new, and everyone was debating, who is it going to be? Who is it going to be? And, some was saying, apparently they tried to get Nicola Berti through. It didn't work. I was thinking, is it going to be David Ginola, another big signing from Newcastle? But no, they went in-house and they went for James Maddison. So let's go and see what Madders had to say.
Must be a big signing. Sandro, welcome to Tottenham, mate. When I joined, the first place I went was the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, just to feel it. The fans pulled me in straight away, and I know they'll do the same for you. They'll see it in the way you play, the bite, the courage, and the way you step up in the middle of the pitch. It's going to be a nice feeling being on the receiving end of your passes instead of your tackles. People say that the supporters are there through the good and the bad, but trust me, mate, I've seen it and I've felt it. You will hear them, you will see them every single week without fail. Welcome to the Spurs family. It's a responsibility, it's a privilege, and more than that, it's an honour. This is yours now too.
Classy.
That is proper good words from James. James Maddison always knows the right words to say, doesn't he? He's so good with his words. And he really is like a... You can see why he's a captain or why he's a leader in this dressing room, so motivated.
He should be the ones doing the on the pre-match, the pre-match VVT on the stadium. We should get Maddison to do it. Brilliant. Do you reckon there's a little bit of... Because obviously Maddison was a player who rejected Newcastle to come to Tottenham back in the day when we signed him. So they've got him out to bring a player who's leaving Newcastle to come to Tottenham, showing him the light, saying you've made the right choice. But it's lovely. It's lovely to see Maddison, obviously a player who's been out for so long. I'm sure he's definitely grateful to not be up against Tonali anymore, because Tonali's always seems to have a great game against us, doesn't he, Tonali, whenever he plays against us. So, yeah, great announcement. I love it. Yeah, it's not like someone who's had like all the other announcements, they've got some sort of connection. But like, yeah, Maddison, I like it.
Yeah. And then Spurs did announce this is him holding the shirt. We are delighted to announce the signing of Sandro Tonali, subject to work permit. And if we just click in to the link into the thing, welcome Sandro Tonali makes the move to N17. The 26-year-old Italian international joins from Newcastle. Sandro said, "I'm very happy to be here. When I arrived at the club today, it felt fantastic. People said about being here, being about 4 or 5 clubs, but there was only one."
Love that.
I spoke to the head coach for close to 2 hours about the club, the fans, the stadium, and our football. It was like magic because I knew immediately that I had to sign for Tottenham. I've played against Tottenham a few times and always found a great atmosphere made by great fans. I can't wait to start the season. Johan Lang says Sandro is one of the best midfielders in Europe and we are delighted to welcome him to the club. He has an outstanding technical quality to go with real football intelligence and has the character to thrive in a demanding, high-pressure environment. Sandro brings valuable experience at the highest level, both domestically and in Euro competition, and I know our supporters will love his energy and commitment on the pitch. We are all excited to see him pull on our famous lily white shirt for the first time, and De Zerbi says, Sandro is a special player and a great signing for our club. I have followed him for a long time as he came through the youth system at my hometown club, Brescia, and I'm so happy to be working with him now. Given his qualities, there was a lot of interest in Sandro this summer. However, he was very clear in his desire to join Tottenham, and I know our fans will love what he brings to the team. So then it just goes on to talk about his previous clubs. But yeah, great words from both Johan and Roberto De Zerbi.
Incredible. And it's very telling, by the way, Tonali. If you notice, he's mentioned him a number of times now, Roberto De Zerbi. When you look at that interview he did at the airport, he was saying, "Well, why did you come to Tottenham?" He was saying, Roberto De Zerbi did his job. De Zerbi, was a massive factor. You look at this interview, he mentions De Zerbi again. He does a little interview again, which we'll go through. He mentions De Zerbi once more. He clearly was sold a project and was sold a dream by Roberto, and they clearly see football in the same way. And I'm so excited to see what De Zerbi has in store for Tonali, because I think he can take his game on leaps and bounds. And I think there are things that people think he doesn't do or he's not as good at, which I think De Zerbi can get out of him. And I can't wait for it.
100%, and I think that doesn't just go for Tonali, but it goes for all the players that we've signed. I think De Zerbi is the key factor here, and now we've got a De Zerbi who can nurture them, who can develop them. They're all going to go up leaps and bounds, and Sandro Tonali is definitely more prevalent to that as well. But let's see what else Spurs social media has been saying. They said Buenavento Sandro. There's him looking beautiful in that Spurs
suits him.
shirt.
It definitely suits him.
Definitely.
That white shirt.
And then he got given his number 16, Sandro Tonali. If you go up, yeah, there we go. 16 Tonali.
A lot of rumours of 6, yeah, but 16, former Timo Werner's number.
Yeah, look, it hasn't been blessed with the best players recently, the 16, but that's changed now because this is Luka Vuckovic's number at Spurs from pre-season. Timo Werner, Arnaut Danjuma, Kyle Walker-Peters, Kieran Trippier. But a certain Gareth Bale was given 16 he first joined the club, wasn't he?
He was, and once Gallagher leaves, he'll take the number 8, so it's all good.
Yeah, I think 8 plus 8 is 16, isn't it? So maybe that's why he's gone for 16.
See, very clever.
But Connor knew this was happening, and he had to get in. He had to get in there first. As soon as the window opened, he was like, "Give me that 8 shirt now."
Yeah, I'm not sure about 16 for Tonali. I kind of don't like the way the aesthetics of it. I prefer my sentiments to be a different number than, I don't know, 16 is more like a winger or a fullback. Not a sentiment doesn't quite fit for me, but I'm sure he'll kill it. I'm sure he's going to smash it.
Yeah, doesn't matter what number he's wearing.
Obviously.
As long as he's wearing the Tottenham shirt, that is all that matters. And I'm still in just complete shock and awe that we've got someone like Tonali through the door after those 2 17th place finishes. It's just like, the maths ain't mathing. Well, they are on the balance sheet, that's for sure. But I'm talking about when you look at it objectively. Like, if I told you that last game of the season at the final whistle, we're signing Sandro Tonali this summer, you'll be like, what are you chatting about?
No chance.
What are you chatting about? And he's here.
And they've made a big, by the way, they've made a big kind of case in the club statement of trying to make it very clear that there were other clubs interested, aren't they? They're not trying to hide that. In fact, they're trying to tell everyone, look, there were other clubs interested.
Yeah.
Other people were going for him, and he chose Tottenham over all those other clubs. And obviously, Tonali said it himself. So he said that was one of the best quotes of the whole announcement. He said, people said there are 4 or 5 clubs, but there was only one. And that just goes to show what a job De Zerbi did selling this to him, because when you're Tonali and you've got all those suitors, why the hell would he prioritise Tottenham over the likes of City and Arsenal, whoever else was interested? And it must have been whatever De Zerbi said to him, because I can't see any other reason to. Yeah. Obviously the money, but there's reports of 250k a week, they're saying, rising.
De Zerbi's changed our lives, man. He's rocked our world. He's bringing in players where we just don't have the right, after what we've done over the last couple of years, to bring in. That is truth. So we're on the up, people. Sleeping Giant is awakening, and I'm all here for it. And I cannot wait to get going next season already. I cannot wait. And there's more signings to come. There is more signings to come. We still need to sort out that forward line. Midfield sorted now. Defence sorted now. Let's bring in those top forwards. Oh, Kang-in Lee, here we go.
Yeah, Lee Kang-in, here we go to Atletico.
Next, Sandro had a little message to the Spurs fans. Let's have a look at that.
Hi Spurs fan, can't wait to meet you, and I'm so happy to be here, and I can't wait to play for Roberto. Come on, you Spurs. Hi Spurs fan.
See, and he mentioned it again, I can't wait to play for Roberto.
Yeah, he doesn't say I can't wait to play for Spurs. I can't wait to play for Roberto.
I think that says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I can't wait to play for Roberto. I think that just goes to show where his mind's at when he's. I know, it can seem trivial, but it just goes to show what he's thinking about when he's saying, when he's talking to us fans, and when he's talking about his excitement to play for Tottenham, his mind immediately goes to Roberto. So I think that just says it all about what a great job. What did he say to him? Apparently, there was rumours he spoke to him for 2 hours, and they were going for everything.
Not rumours, he said it.
Oh yeah, sorry. He said it. He said it in an interview. He spoke to him for 2 hours, and he was just like he was like completely sold by De Zerbi about the way they see football, and clearly, whatever De Zerbi said has, I don't know, just really convinced him.
It's mad, isn't it, when you think about it? Like what Roberto De Zerbi's done in football so far. In terms of management, you got Sassuolo job, you got the Brighton job, and you got the Marseille job. No major honours, no nothing there to him to fall back on. But the way that players respect him and the way that players want to play for him, I mean, it's just unbelievable, isn't it?
Well, as I've said before with De Zerbi, he was a massive part of in modern football, or especially over the last 5 years. He was like a pioneer in some of the aspects that a lot of coaches use now, like the press baiting and inviting that pressure to quickly pass in between the lines. De Zerbi was at the forefront of developing that and bringing that to the Premier League. And I think if you're smart, and I think if you're on top of where football's going, the direction football's going, you will have noticed that, and you'll have noticed what a genius De Zerbi is when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I think a lot of people would have taken note of De Zerbi, despite the fact he's not managing any of the biggest clubs and not winning the biggest trophies. Pep Guardiola said it. He's one of the most influential coaches of the last 10 years, and I think a lot of people have taken notice of that. And clearly, when he talks to his players, he can probably go into so much unbelievable detail and tell them exactly how he sees them fitting into the team. And maybe when they're talking to these other coaches, it's not quite the same. So I'm really looking forward to what De Zerbi has in store for next season.
Yeah, and there was reports when Man City announced Maresca that there were only 3 candidates that they felt that could take over from Pep Guardiola after he left, and De Zerbi was one of those 3 candidates. That shows you just his standing in the game right now. It's just
I think they said De
incredible.
Zerbi, Maresca and company, was it?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was those 3, yeah.
And then they tweeted out this: Tonali's journey to N17, Brescia 89 apps, AC Milan 130 apps, Newcastle 110 apps, and Italy 32 caps as well. And is he going to be welcoming one of his mates from Milan sometime soon?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Agent Tonali already. Why not? Why not? I guess Tonali's probably the best person for if we got doubts on Leao. You know, Tonali's the best person we can talk to, isn't he? About whether this guy, we should bring him in, what is he actually like in training, all this kind of stuff. No one can get closer than, you know, Tonali being his teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's him posting as well, or posing in the 2 Tottenham kits that have been released for next season. But it really does suit him. And I don't know, I like that away kit, man. I know,
it's great on me.
Especially when you see Tonali in it. That's for sure.
That's for sure. That's for sure. If you can put those kind of players in that shirt, then I don't really care what it is.
Pictures of him doing his medical yesterday, or whenever he did it a couple of days ago. It was bloody long from the here we go to get the announcement as well, once we heard he'd done his medical and stuff.
Well, it was a few days, wasn't it?
To keep us waiting.
Yeah, I think keeping us on our toes. Look, I think when it comes to these social media announcements, I think Spurs, they have all this apparatus behind them, like optimizing when exactly to post to get the maximum attention, all this kind of stuff. So they've always got their reasons for when they're announcing at some point, I think.
Yeah, I mean, SZY was saying it was held up by Newcastle. It wasn't held up by Spurs. So, I don't know. And then they posted as well a 35-second clip from a bigger interview, which is due to be released by Spurs at some point soon. I guess let's have a look at what he's saying.
I can't wait to play in this stadium because I play a few times against Tottenham, with AC Milan, Champions League, Newcastle. I found the great atmosphere. I found every time the full stadium. It's not easy because the stadium is so big. The fans can change the game in 2 minutes. The fans work with you. It's more easy for you. So I think the fans is one of the best thing in this league. I can wait to
Come on, Sandro. Come on. I just can't. We've broken our transfer record, people, twice this window already. Are we going to do it for the 3rd time this window?
Yeah, probably. I think we're going to try to. It's insane what Spurs have been doing, and with the massive statements of intent. They have been laying down a marker this window that what has happened is unacceptable, and we are serious about improving this team to get it back to a certain standard, because we have fallen well below those standards over the last few years. And I think these 2 transfers are them saying, we're not going to allow this to carry on any longer. We're going to put things right. Not to say that this means we're now title challengers or we're now going to push to win the league immediately, but we can't allow this club to fall below certain levels and certain standards, and we have allowed it to set in for way too long. And I'm just delighted that we've put the money on the table, and what incredible business we have done. And I know it's expensive, but I don't care. It's great business, and you look at our team, it's really shaping up now. And to be fair, you talk about the amount of money we spend, it's a lot of money, but we're recouping a lot of it already, you know? 70 million for Vuskovic and Dragoshin. So that's already a big chunk of it we're getting back.
Yeah.
Plus all the other sales that we're set to, and Valise, that was 8 million.
How mad is it,
so
man?
pretty much 78 million.
We got the same money for Dragoshin as Arsenal got for Trossard.
Yeah, mental. Mental.
How does that even make sense? I think the Spurs team working on transfers this year are doing such a good job.
We got 8 million for Valise as well, so we're pretty much on 80 million already.
Yeah.
And that's for 3 players that we were never going to use.
Yeah.
So, people talk about, oh wow, we've overpaid, but when you're looking at what money we're getting in for these players, right, and that equals 1 Fernandes or 1 Tonali, it's well worth it, isn't it?
100%. Couldn't agree more. There's also been he did a statement this morning to the Newcastle fans. I need to try and find it again because I had it. Let me just read it off Instagram because he posted it on Instagram. Here we go. proper heartfelt message for Sandro. You can take off the X out if you want. He said, 3 years ago I came to Newcastle not really knowing what to expect. Today it's time to say goodbye, and it's hard to find the right words. I want to start thanking the club, to the people who work every day and nobody sees at the training ground. Everyone who welcomed me and made me feel at home from the very first day. Thank you to the staff and my teammates for believing in me and helping me grow. A special mention to the gaffer, Eddie, who's been a real guiding figure, who always had my back throughout this journey. But above all, I want to speak directly to the fans. When things were hard for me, you were there. Not one day did I feel alone. I felt every time out at St James's Park. That's something I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. Together we achieved something that the city had been waiting for decades at Wembley that day. It was a special and historic moment. We got to share together. To the fans who never stopped believing, who never stopped cheering for this club, who were the hardest times, that trophy was for you. The game brought me to Newcastle. Today I leave with my wife and our son, born during my time here. This city gave me more than football. It gave me a home, moments I'll hold on to forever, and people I'll always be grateful. Thank you for everything, Sandro. Another classy message there from Sandro Tonali to the Newcastle fans. It'll be interesting to see what the reaction when we go play at St James's Park. You know, his first home game is against Newcastle.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what the reaction from the Newcastle fans will be to Sandro.
I don't think it's going to be great.
No, neither do
I don't think it's going to be great. I think they're going to go after him. But yeah, tonight, I mean, he says all these great words, but then he also said in an interview that he had a childlike giddiness. He felt like a child this morning, the morning he signed for Tottenham. The excitement there was for him. So as much as it must have, you know, he's saying how hard it was and all the stuff, he clearly really wanted it. He really wanted that move, and he wanted to upgrade to Tottenham. So if I'm a Newcastle fan, you know, that's fine words, but you know, there has to be a massive frustration that they had that whole thing with the betting scandal. Like all the fans and players and the club didn't hold it against him. You know, he came back to like a hero's welcome when the ban ended, even though apparently there are rumours that they knew the ban was coming before he signed. And so in a way, you could definitely change that narrative to say that Tonali in a way screwed Newcastle over by signing for them at that point. If he knew the ban was coming and Newcastle didn't, they got a bit screwed. But they didn't hold that against him. Comes back, he had a brilliant season, and then had one average season where he dropped off, and all of a sudden he's running out the club. So I would be a bit frustrated if I was a Newcastle fan, but hopefully it doesn't end that way at Tottenham.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't really care. I'm delighted. He's here. I cannot wait to see him line up in our midfield. And it's not just him. Him alongside Mateus Fernandes as well is just going to be... Oh, it's going to be magic. It's going to be magic. It's going to be more magic than his 2-hour phone call with Roberto De Zerbi as well. I just cannot wait, man. And I tell you what, everywhere I'm walking in the streets these days, bumping into Spurs fans, everyone is buzzing, aren't they?
No one's hiding anymore.
It's like we won the league last season. Everyone's walking around with a smile on their face. Everyone's like, what is going on at Tottenham?
Everyone. No one's hiding anymore. All the Spurs fans are out. All Spurs fans are out and proud at the moment because they feel something. There's a bit of electricity in the air. They feel something big happening at the moment, and everyone is so excited, which is crazy to think about where we were, you know, a few weeks ago, one game away from relegation, and we were sick of Tottenham well, I mean, I guess when De Zerbi came in it was a bit different, but for most of last season we were just sick of the sight of Tottenham. No one was looking forward to games, no one was looking forward to watching them on the weekend. It was kind of like a chore, but now everyone couldn't be more excited, and we haven't even played a game yet with all these players, and I guess the excitement will really set in once we see pre-season how they're shaping up, and you know, that excitement about what this team could actually achieve, we'll get to see it. But right now, with all these players coming through the door, all the business we're doing, it just couldn't be more exciting. It couldn't have gone much better, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see what else the summer brings, because there is rumours of big players, big names which we'll go through, and we're not finished yet. We are not finished yet, but already we've broken our transfer record twice for two top players who anyone wouldn't have dreamed of getting before the window opened. So it's a phenomenal start, and I think all Spurs fans right now are dreaming. They're dreaming of big things. They're dreaming of all possibilities. I've heard all sorts of things about what we can do next season, and I'm all here for it.
A few people in the comments have mentioned that you look like Tonali.
I don't see it personally. He's got nicer hair than me, but
Simeon Tonali.
Simeon Tonali. Maybe get a side by side. People can make their judgments.
Simeon Tonali. What do people think in the comments? You know, it's uncanny. Uncanny.
I don't know. I don't really see it. I don't mind the comparison. Not a bad looking bloke, Tonali.
Yeah, well, look, there you have it. Welcome, Sandro Tonali to Tottenham Hotspur. Our record signing, £92 million. That could be rising
Simeone Tonali.
to £100 million. So, yeah, I'm gassed, man. I am absolutely gassed. I'm buzzing to see how this all unfolds. It's just like
Timu Tonali.
Timu Tonali. Yeah. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Was that the best one yet in terms of the announcement? Madison really did a good job, didn't he? Announcing Sandro Tonali to the club. First and foremost, it's like, you're getting me in. It must be a bloody big signing, then, shouldn't it? Well, there you go. £92 million for Sandro Tonali. We're going to move on from Sandro Tonali. Everyone, let us know your thoughts on him in the comment section below. We've got a Tottenham update to bring to you guys. And first and foremost, we are going to talk about Junior Krupi, as Alex Crook says that Tottenham are preparing a potential 85 million bid for Eli Junior Krupi. The message coming from Bournemouth is that he's not for sale this summer. Tottenham want to test their resolve. Come on.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where we're at, I think, with at this stage, because there's a lot of interest in him. Bournemouth don't want to sell him. I'm guessing it was probably similar with Tonali. Like, we were just going to test the resolve, and then they were very open to selling him for 100 million. If they said it's going to take an astronomical fee. What we know Bournemouth is, though, if that fee is met, they will sell more often than not. I know they're in Europe, but I'm pretty sure if you offered close to 100 million, they would back themselves to reinvest that and sign replacements. And they actually sign probably multiple players for that kind of money to really bolster the squad. And Bournemouth could do with that, to be honest, being the fact that they're in Europe and given the fact that they need a bigger squad, they could. I bet you they would be happy to take the 100 million and reinvest it.
Yeah, the thing is like they have signed another striker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if this is with Krupi's future in mind or not, but he's got a release clause in his contract that activates next summer for 100 million. So you would think that with that in mind, they'd probably want more than what the release clause is this summer, wouldn't they?
So who's that confirmed by?
I can't remember who it was actually confirmed by, but I
haven't heard that.
I've seen quite a few reports suggesting it, but it was a while. It was a few weeks ago, so I can't exactly remember who it was.
They might, to be honest, looking at the current market values. I wouldn't be surprised if their opening gambit is over 100 million. But I think they accept. I think because it's still I know there's a release clause next year for 100 million, but there's no guarantee anyone's going to meet that anyway.
Yeah, of course.
So 100 million, it's there to ward. It's not there to get 100 million fee. It's there to ward people off and say you're not getting him, because they probably thought when they put 100 million in there, no one's ever going to reach that. But if we're willing to put something similar down this summer, I think they seriously consider it. I really do. And I think they probably spend that on, because they just signed a striker for 22, didn't they? So I think they spend that 100 million on two or three or four players, let's say, and they get a bigger squad from it. Heard from Spurs has actually just tweeted out about Krupi.
What's he said?
Reliable PSG sources are coming out saying the fee for Krupi is too high as it stands. Let me be clear, Tottenham have the funds. It's still a long shot. It'll take a great effort to acquire him from Bournemouth and keep him from going home. But there is a sliver of hope. Let's see.
I live for those slithers of hope. Slithers of hope.
Nothing is too far beyond us this summer. Nothing.
It's mad. Are we really going to smack £100 million down on the table for Krupi? It would be nuts, because you look at it, one season in the Premier League, albeit a very good season in the Premier League, 20 years of age, young. 100 million would be a crazy overpayment.
It is. And considering all the factors you just said, but you're looking, again, if you're looking for Prem proven, right? you're looking in the Premier League, who can we actually go for who's as good as him? Like right now, like who's got a good long-term future, who's got his ceiling is that high, his right now his qualities. You could say maybe Mamouche. You could go for who's kind of a similar kind of profile. Fair enough, but you're looking for a kind of striker. You know, you looked at the top goal scorers last season. A lot of them we wouldn't go for. Calvert-Lewin, Welbeck, all these kind of players. We're not going for them. So who else is there? Who if we're going for Prem proven, who is there you would go for? I can't really think of anyone in the Premier League better than Krupi. So, yes, it's an overpayment, but it's also the best one on the market. And anyone else going for someone isn't going to get someone as good as him, if you know what I mean. So, if we're trying to beat off the competition and get him in now, we're probably getting the best person on the market who's best proven.
How much did they sign him for last summer?
Cheap. It was like 12.
12 million.
Yeah.
So if you're going from 12 million to 100 million in the space of a year, I mean that.
But you look at you look at Ramos, for example, stunk the place out pretty much at PSG for a couple of years, and he's gone for 74. So that's kind of the mark. Like for strikers and goal scorers who have had half decent or score a few goals, they just go for a lot of money. That's the reality. Yeah. Especially if they're young and that age.
Don't get me wrong. I'd pay it. I'd pay it. Like I believe in this guy's talent so much. I mean, we were all watching him last season being like, who the hell is this guy? Like, he is incredible. The finishing ability. You're paying, like, a lot just that finishing ability alone. Like, not many players in the Premier League possess that. Tell me who's on a par or better finisher than Krupi in the Premier League. There's not many.
Yeah, he's already, I think, one of the best. Obviously, you've got the big hitters like Haaland and whatever, but, yeah, he's up
apart from Haaland, can you name me another one?
Apart from Haaland, who's a better finisher than Krupi? Off the top of my head.
Gyökeres, maybe?
I actually think Krupi's a better finisher than Gyökeres. I actually think Gyökeres
Isaac.
I think Isaac's probably a better finisher. Ekitike's up there, actually. I think
for sure, Ekitike.
He's up there.
Well, what we're saying, he's near the top, though.
Yeah, no, he's near the top. He's one of the best, for sure. I think he's one of the best. I agree with that.
So just do what you can to bring him in. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But he should be that number one priority. It looks like he is.
But it's also mad that we're talking about him for 100 million, whereas last season Isaac was 115. And considering, how much he's done and how many good seasons he had for Newcastle and all that kind of stuff, it's like one good season, and you're that age and you're 100 million. But I think anyone could see if you watch him play what a talent this kid is and how good he is.
Look, I'm happy to have my pants pulled down another time. Just keep pulling my pants down, and we'll be all right, and we'll keep getting the top players in. So that's all I care about.
I don't mind.
Next, we talk about Rafael Leao. This seems to be moving in the right direction. SZY says Leao, Savinho and Nusa all under consideration right now, and Tottenham have held positive talks recently with Rafael Leao's camp. Himothy says that Tottenham have now accelerated their interest in Rafael Leao. As it stands, Tottenham are likely to push further once his World Cup is over. Obviously, he plays Spain tonight, so it could very well be over tonight, to be honest.
So here we go tomorrow, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He also says Nusa, Gakpo and Savinho are other options. We'll get into them in a little bit. But in terms of Rafael Leao, it looks as though out of all those players that I just mentioned, we're progressing more on him than anyone else right now.
Yeah, I wonder whether it's just, are we getting a deal in place? We're speaking to Leao's camp. I'm sure. How are we having conversations with him personally right now while he's at the World Cup? Is he fully focused on the World Cup? Is it the agent driving everything and him trying to, get the deal in place for when the World Cup's over? We can just quickly move ahead with it. I think if you're Tottenham and you've got as much money as we do right now and you're looking to make statement signings, I think Leao would definitely, he's a big name and he's going to be of interest to do that. And I think it makes a statement for sure, start bringing someone of the quality of Leao and the name of Leao, but whether the name and the hype live up to reality, that's obviously another question which we have spoken about. But if we have looked at him internally, and we've, weighed up the pros and cons and landed on the side of it's worth the risk, then I'm super excited. And I'm sure, I think we should speak to Tonali about him, because he was a teammate for many years, and he will know him very well and know what maybe went wrong, what makes him tick, all that kind of stuff.
But Tonali was with him for like his best years, though, wasn't he?
He was, exactly. So maybe he knows why was those years his best. What can we do to get the best out of him? Does he need a refresh? I'm sure they're friends. Maybe they speak. I don't know. But I'm sure he knows his personality. You know, he's been with him in the dressing room, probably outside the dressing room. You know, or on nights out or whatever, or just as a human being
maybe
outside.
Tonali went to his studio. Who knows?
Maybe they put on bets together. I don't know. But maybe Leao was advising him on bets. But I think Tonali's a very good person to talk about Rafael Leao. Maybe if they've had discussions and Tonali's saying, look, he's not been at his best over the last couple of years, but if you get him in, we could have a superstar here. We could have someone with star quality who I'm backing that you could get the best out of, and I could help you do that. I mean, and I would be willing to go for it. I mean, he is. We're seeing at the World Cup what a brilliant player he can be on his day, and I think everyone knows it. You know, there's a reason as well. As much as there's a reason now big clubs are not interested, there was a reason why big clubs were interested, you know, for big money back in the day. And there was a lot of talk and a lot of hype around him. At that point, I do remember, I think he did reject some big clubs to stay at Milan. He was very, very happy at Milan. Yeah. And he said he just wants to stay there, and he said he could see a big future there. But for one reason or another, it's gone wrong. You know, Milan, they're very up and down at the moment. So maybe he just feel like he just needs to refresh. He's been there. He has been there a hell of a long time, hasn't he? What, for 8 years or something? It's maybe a long time,
man.
So you know, when you're at a club for that long, you know, sometimes it goes stale, doesn't it? And maybe that's just the case for Rafael Leao. And if we could get that Leao that won AC Milan the Scudetto, man, this deal would pay in tenfold. It would be incredible.
He signed there in 2019.
So 7 years.
Yeah, he's been there a long time, and you know, ever since he had that good season, scoring 11 goals, he's never scored less than 8 goals in the season. So he still keeps up that standards in terms of goals. Like if he comes into Spurs next season and scores 8-9 goals,
I think if you look at goal contributions as well, like I'm pretty sure most seasons he gets at least 15.
Yeah,
I think goal contributions.
We need to get Iggy on.
Yeah,
he watches Milan week in, week out. Big Milan fan. I want to know from him what his views are on Rafael Leao. But I think when you're looking at it, a loan move is obviously more preferable than signing him because of those risk factors. But then again, if you're signing him for, let's say, 50 million euros or 60 million euros, and De Zerbi, because I think De Zerbi can bring him back to his best. I think the coaching that De Zerbi can put into him,
I feel like he won't let him not. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think De Zerbi will have a massive influence on Rafael Leao if he was to join here. I think Milan has been, it's been a bit of a shit show for the last 2 or 3 years. So
I guess a lot of it depends on what is Leao's intentions for saying he wants to come to the Prem. Is it because he just likes the glitz and the glamour and it's a big league and he's going to get a lot of attention? Or is it because he really wants to test himself against the best of the best and he feels like he should level up and he wants to really, be a bigger name on the world stage in terms of his quality and actually prove that he can be one of the lead stars in one of the top leagues in the world? Is that the reason, or is it just because he knows he's going to get more eyes on him, he's going to have more attention, and obviously there's more money in the Premier League, all that kind of stuff? What is his goal? I think we need to figure that out. I don't think obviously we're not going to sign him unless De Zerbi has chats with him and all that kind of stuff. But it's a weird one. Is it a case of us convincing him, or is he trying to convince us? Because it seems as though we're talking about him trying to convince Spurs and he wants to come here, whereas all these other deals, it's been Tottenham convincing Fernandes and Tonali and Van Hecke and Senesi all to reject other clubs to come to us. But this one seems a bit different.
To play for De Zerbi, mate. That's what it is.
But I'm saying this one seems different. This is like them trying to ship him to us. They're trying to convince us to take him. Mm-hmm. And it's a different dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a different dynamic. But like I was saying before, like if De Zerbi can get him playing to his best, you've all of a sudden underpaid instead of overpaying,
potentially,
like everyone else. Look, there is a case it could go the other way, and you could sign him on a 4-year contract, and him and De Zerbi just don't get on. He doesn't get back to his best, and then you're kind of lumbered with him. And obviously, maybe we try to get a deal to the Saudi League in a year's time or 2 years' time. But I've seen a lot of people trying to liken this to Ndombele, Timo Werner, Moani. I think he's a level above that, man. I really believe that. I think when you've seen what he's done for AC Milan, even in his bad years, I still think you're seeing a good player there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I completely agree with you. Even that we're talking about him being inconsistent, being off form, right? And he's still hitting fairly okay numbers. I know it's not quite the heights that he was, but he's still getting decent goal contributions, you know, between 10 and 15 goal contributions a season. Even in seasons we're saying he's bad, he's poor, he hasn't done it, he's still hitting 10 to 15 goal contributions. So, like, even if he was to come, even if we were to sign him and he didn't live up to the hype of being one of the best wingers in the league, he would still provide something. Yeah. Like, we might look to sell him in a year because he's not providing enough, but he would still give us, I think, a base level of output, I would say.
Even him performing how he's performed over the last year or two, he's by miles our best winger. Maybe not Kudus. Well, you know, he might be better than Kudus, but you know, every other winger he's miles better than and showed miles more output than them, even in his bad years. And his bad years aren't bad; they're just not as good as his good years. Mm-hmm. So, I say bring him in, man. I say bring him in. I think he could bring genuine star quality, and I think De Zerbi can take him on and get him back to his best. And at the age of 27, surely he's thinking, you know, I need to get my career back on track. I need to go somewhere where I can really flourish, and I think that's under De Zerbi.
I guess one other thing to think about is he would be one of the only signings at the moment that we're linked with that's not Prem proven or played in the Prem. So how he adapts to the Premier League is obviously another question mark. Yeah. But I do think he has the profile to do well in the Premier League, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So, next up, we shall be talking about Savinho. On Savinho, I mean, not really much has changed, but Romano says that Savinho does remain a target for Tottenham. The deal is still on. Spurs have not stopped thinking about him. De Zerbi and his team are very busy on the market. I mean, it just doesn't go away, but nothing ever seems to progress.
Yeah, I wonder what the hold-up is. Are we convinced? Is the price too high? We're obviously looking at other options as well. Is Maresca as well? Have they decided kind of what they want to do with him? You know, if Maresca decides actually he's a more important player than first thought of, maybe the price goes up a bit. If Maresca says actually, yeah, we could do with a bit of money getting rid of him, maybe we're thinking the price could go down a bit. Are we looking at players like Nusa, you know, instead, or Somerville, and considering those options and weighing it up whether we go with them or Savinho? So I think there's a few factors going into this why it hasn't happened, but yeah, everything else though all from Savinho's side, it all points to like he wants to drop his wage to come to Tottenham. He's desperate to come to Tottenham. When you got a player who really wants to leave, more often than not, especially one in Savinho's position, they get their move. So you would think, you know, if Tottenham really wanted him, we could get the deal done. But it seems must be multiple factors holding it up. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Yeah, maybe it is just De Zerbi looking for someone that has been more proven in the Premier League to get those goal contributions. You know, we've spoken about this so many times, and you know, we know Savinho's got undeniable talent, but for one reason or another, in the last 2 years, hasn't got right for him at City. And maybe those reservations are just holding us back a little bit.
Yeah, but I think we're signing two. So if we get like a Leao to Savinho, well, but Leao's also, I guess, not proven in the Prem, but you know, I guess it depends on who's our alternatives. Like Nusa's not proven in the Prem. I guess you can say Somerville is, so maybe we're looking at him. But it just depends on who we're comparing him to, I guess.
Yeah. And you know, there's probably names out there that we're not even privy to that they're probably looking at right now. So look, again, it's just one of them, one to watch and see how it goes. But Spurs, Romano's still saying the deal's still on, so we'll see how it goes. With Cody Gakpo, Romano is saying that Tottenham keep thinking about Gakpo, but for Gakpo, an exit from Liverpool is not open currently. I guess it depends on who they sign, because they're just desperate for players in those positions. So, yeah, unless they sign three or four, literally, they're not going to let Gakpo leave.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if Gakpo is available, especially right now. So I think that one's gone to the back. But I also think he would probably be a backup option for us anyway, potentially. I don't think he's going to be our first choice, although I do like him, and he definitely would have to add some value. So I wouldn't get too excited about this one happening anytime soon. I think this is an August job if it happens.
Yeah, again, wait and see what happens. And last but not least, Cuti Romero. Romano's been speaking about him. Nothing really new, saying there is a strong chance that Romero leaves Spurs during the summer transfer window. Romero wants to move to La Liga. So we need La Liga teams to stump up the cash.
They're talking about, still Atletico, Barcelona. He's having a pretty decent World Cup at the moment, so we'll see, how far they go and what the state of play is. For me, I still think it's a shame him leaving, considering he's such a good player. And I think he could do well under De Zerbi, but it is what it is. We've discussed it many, many times. I think he'll end up getting his move this summer by hook or by crook, and that'll be that. So we'll see what happens. He's at the World Cup, so I'm assuming we're going to wait till after for any movement on that.
Imagine so. And he had his helping hand in pushing Argentina over the finish line against Cape Verde. It was given an own goal in the end, but yeah, we'll see. But I just feel like there's no room for him right now. That is the reality. Even if he had a change of heart and wanted to stay, I don't know if the club will be open to it.
I think they've already budgeted him being sold as part of the money they're getting in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think.
So it'll be interesting to see how much he actually goes for, because with the prices banded around right now, with Vuskovic going for 50 and Van Hecke with a year left going for 52, and you're talking about Bergvall going for 50 million. Like, how is Romero not like 70, 80, 90 million?
I think that'll be the opening price from us, but I don't think we'll get it. I don't think we should be. That's what we should be getting, to be honest, a hefty fee. But I think because we've already made our stance clear, and I think it's clear to everyone he wants to go, we want to sell. That just naturally does drive the price down, doesn't it?
Exactly. But look, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below all the news stories, all your thoughts on the news stories that we have spoken about today. Sandro Tonali is here, and he's beautiful. England through to the quarterfinals of the World Cup, and Spurs fans up and down the country, around the world, are absolutely buzzing right now, and I am here for it. I think that is all we have for you today.
Well, Ali Gold's posted the full interview, the words of the Tonali interview.
Shall we go through it, guys?
Why not? See what he actually said in that interview, because it was like a 3-minute interview. He says, go on.
One sec, let me just get this super chat. Dark Sunji says, once the players are back, they will be shocked come on you Spurs. And yeah, a week today, the players are back at Hotspur Way, or the ones that are not the World Cup ones, but everyone else. Tonali will be there. Mateus Fernandes will be there. I doubt Van Hecke will be there. Even though he went
still there at the World Cup.
Senesi's still at the World Cup.
Dubravka
will be there, yeah.
Robertson?
Well, they went out in the group stages. There's a likelihood. It's likely he'll be there.
How long ago was that compared to pre-season? Because he's going to have a holiday, isn't he? He's going to have a break.
Yeah, it just depends how long he goes away for. I think it was, a week ago? Maybe, yeah, I think he won't be back. Robertson.
Yeah, he won't be back, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if Kudus is straight back in, because I'm excited to see what kind of state Kudus is in.
On that as well, did you see there's a video of Kulusevski doing some shooting drills?
I did see. He was banging them in.
He was
fun.
right and left foot. Maybe he's been. Someone replied to it saying he's just become right-footed now. He can't use his left foot anymore. But he was unbelievable.
Every single one. I mean, I don't know if it was heavily edited in it to show it, but
it was an unedited clip, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was, as in it was a one shot. One shot for the right, one shot for the left. They weren't chopping, so seemed legit. His finishing looked very good. So very, very interesting. Need Dr. Andre to confirm how far away he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Tonali.
Yeah.
The Spurs interview, he says, I decided to sign for Tottenham, and I didn't need 2 teams, 3 teams, or 4 teams in my mind. I knew already my team for next season, and I can't wait to start the season and to play the first game. Every time when you change team, you have to restart everything. You have to restart your relationship with the teammates, the staff, and the fans. But I'm a bit lucky because, you know, the staff is more easy for you, especially at the start of the season and the summer. He's an unbelievable gaffer. I've known him for a long time. He's from Brescia. I played Brescia in 10 years. I played 10 years in Brescia. Sometimes we meet in Brescia when we have a day off or two. We come back both in our city, and I think this is fantastic. I spoke with him for the first time. We spoke like friends, and we spoke like players and gaffer already. This chat was close to magic because it was like, okay, now I have to sign for you for sure. Like magic, bit of stardust with De Zerbi in that chat.
Sparks are flying when Tonali and De Zerbi were having their chats.
We spoke a lot really about Tottenham, the stadium and the fans, and about the players and about our football. We can't wait to start the season. Talking about, Tonali admitted his switch to North London has him feeling like a kid again. He says, the morning at 6 a.m. I woke up like a Tottenham player. When we came here this morning, the feeling was fantastic. It was like when I was 16 or 17 and I played my first game. It was very similar. I was like a kid with energy inside. I think it's all positive things, especially for football, especially because I'm 26 now. I'm not 18 years of age. On his playing style, I think I work a lot for my teammates. If I had to describe me in one sentence, I play number 6 and I play a lot with the defence. That's interesting.
I love, by the way, what he was saying about feeling like a kid again, and he's so excited to play for Tottenham. Yeah. Wait till Tottenham grinds you down.
Oh, yeah, exactly. A lot of players have felt that as well before they actually start. He says on playing Newcastle, the second game of the season, he says, we play the second game against Newcastle. Really, I can't wait to play this game, and I can't wait to play inside the stadium because I played a few times against Tottenham with AC Milan in the Champions League and with Newcastle. I found the great atmosphere. I found every time this full stadium, that's not easy because the stadium is so big. The fans can change the game in 2 minutes. If the fans work with you, it's more easy for you. So I think the fans are one of the best things in the stadium. I know the stadium is one of the best in the world. The fans are crazy. We need this because we need to put every time 100% concentration and everything on the pitch because we want to win every single game, especially home games, and I know we can. But I think the most important, most eye-catching quotes there. First of all, he's so it's interesting. He describes himself as a number 6.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have been saying, you know, he's definitely more of a number. Well, he's more of a number 8. He's like a lung-busting midfielder. He's not one who's going to sit and dictate play, but he sees himself. I guess he didn't necessarily say he's going to be one who's going to sit and dictate play, but he says I play number 6 and I play a lot with the defence, which I find interesting.
That is interesting, and there's also, you know, Nicky coming and saying Matheus Fernandes' best position is in the 6 as well. So,
and also he says that off the back of having those conversations with De Zerbi, which I'm sure they spoke about where they see him fitting in. So I don't think he would say, oh, I'm a number 6 if De Zerbi told him he was going to be like a number 8, you know what I mean? If they have those discussions and you know, that he is like talking about where he thinks he's going to play, I don't think Tonali then goes out and says, yeah, I'm actually a number 6 when we've had all these discussions that he's going to be a bit further forward. So I think that's quite interesting. About where we see him fitting in, and I think when it comes to De Zerbi ball, they do kind of rotate anyway. Kind of, there's, you know, sometimes Fernandes will go, sometimes Tonali. They kind of, the way they build up, it's kind of, they take it, turns, it's very fluid. So I don't think he's going to be stuck to one position, but I find that interesting. And obviously, him talking about the magic he had with De Zerbi in that 2-hour conversation. He said after that conversation, he decided for sure, I'm going to sign with you, I'm going to play with you. They've been friends. He said they've known each other a long, long time. So that obviously relationship really, really helped. But that was a crucial thing in getting Tonali over the line.
Well, you know, after that phone call with De Zerbi, you know, Arteta's calling, Maresca's calling, just didn't have the magic. I think after that quote, we might need to reincarnate the old Poch song for De Zerbi. You know, maybe De Zerbi's his magic, you know.
Absolutely.
Roberto De Zerbi,
he is magic. Incredible. So, yeah, I mean, very interesting quotes there from Sandro Tonali. And I'm just buzzing. Our brand new record signing, which we've broken twice in one window. it's a monument. It's actually a massive day for the club today. You know, getting our first, I guess you can call him £100 million player with add-ons. So our first £100 million player, considering the fact that we never really thought we would sign someone of that kind of level, you know, ever. You know, even it was only a year ago, or sorry, maybe it was 2 years ago, where Ange was saying, you know, these players. These clubs sign players for 100 million. We're never going to do that.
It was a few months ago, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, I'm talking about his overlap interviews.
Not that one. No, when he was manager of Tottenham, when he was said, you know, we're never going to spend 100 million on a player. You know, he admitted that. And yet here we are 2 years later spending £100 million on a player. Yeah. So it's a massive step for the club. It's a massive moment. It's a massive signing as well. And wow.
For a massive club.
For a massive club.
Sleeping giant has awoken. Tottenham Hotspur on their way back to the big time. And Sandro Tonali, just to see someone of Sandro Tonali's stature, what he's done so far, you know, for Newcastle, for Milan, and just hear him, how he speaks about Tottenham and how he speaks about our manager and how giddy he is and happy he is to be here. It's just phenomenal, isn't it?
And it's mad. I understand, you know, he's getting well paid and, you know, the money's probably a big element to it. Reportedly 250 grand a week, rising to 280 if we do get Champions League. So we are smashing our wage structure for him. But to hear him talk like this about signing for Tottenham, it's just blown my mind. You know, you would have thought that, like, he's come here just for, you know, if he's going to get him in, it'll just be for a payday. It'll just be, you know, just for the money because we're offering a higher wage pack. And obviously that's an element. But the way he speaks about De Zerbi, the way he speaks about that childlike giddiness to join Tottenham, when he's already been at a big club like Newcastle, challenging for Champions League, challenging, you know, they had within their own right, they had... they were doing quite well and they were challenging at the top of the table. So he's already been at a big club, yet when he looked at Tottenham and he looked at what we offer, AC Milan as well, yeah, massive club as well. So when you look, did he win this? I'm guessing he won the Scudetto there as well. So having played at such big clubs, and he looks at Tottenham with a childlike giddiness, it just blows my mind. We've able to like get that out of him, but that's all down to, I think, how his excitement of playing under De Zerbi, I think.
It's just the first time that we've bought like a Champions League ready player that's played in the Champions League for multiple clubs, in playing at the prime of his career, you know, 26 years of age. I just can't remember a signing of this stature that we've made before. I don't think we have.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Probably not.
This has got to be, I know on money, but if you take the money out of it and just look at the player, like this has got to be Spurs' biggest signing in the Premier League era. Maybe barring Jurgen Klinsmann.
Yeah, I guess we had Van der Vaart, but he was obviously a bit different.
Van der Vaart was also past his peak.
I think he was at his peak when we signed him, to be honest. I think he was 28. I think we had 2 years of his peak, and then he really dipped after. But it was different because he was out in the cold at Madrid. You know, he was unwanted, so it was an easy deal to do. In terms of a player who was like crucial to their team, of that quality at a big club as well, which was pretty hard to get out of. I think when you consider all those factors, I guess you got Xavi, but Xavi is at Leipzig, is a bit different, although he was quite highly sought after. Madison, well, yeah, different as well. Leicester wasn't. They were in. They're relegated as well. Yeah, I guess in terms of the quality of player, I wouldn't say he's like the best quality player we've ever signed, I guess. I don't know if I would say that. But is he, in terms of those factors you're talking about, one of the best midfielders in the Prem, big club, Champions League regular experience, Champions League quality, that kind of money? It's probably the most significant signing we've ever made.
Significant for sure, because we've never gone to a Premier League club, a particularly Premier League club that sees themselves on a level footing with us. Maybe we would go to, like, you know, Forest for Brennan Johnson, or we would go to a Palace or you know, a team like down there. But we would never go to a team that see themselves on a level playing field and go, you know what, let's slap 100 million down and take your best player. You know what I mean? That just doesn't happen to Tottenham.
Exactly. It's like we've done what Bayern do to Dortmund or something. It's like crazy.
What Bayern do to Dortmund, what City can do to other teams, what Manchester United, you know. Alex Ferguson made a career out of that, didn't he? Every summer he would make a statement signing, and a lot of the times it would be one of the best players in the Premier League outside of Manchester United.
Yeah, and it just I think this is just case in point and real proof for anyone in doubt the bigger clubs. When people say you're not part of the big six and all that kind of stuff, like I think that move confirms that we are, because Villa and Newcastle, even if they had the money, I don't know if they could do it, but they don't have the money. Obviously, they can't do deals like that. They wouldn't be able to come to us and get our best player. Not a chance in hell. It just wouldn't happen. But yet we can go to Newcastle and go and get one of their best players.
Yeah. It's also worth noting, by the way, on a completely separate thing, on Mateus Fernandes, we were talking the other day about what we think his wage is going to be, and Paul O'Keefe confirmed his wage is going to be 175 grand a week.
Okay.
So, I was thinking, like, if you're giving him over 200 grand, that is a bit much for a 21-year-old with, there's not much progression there. But at 175, I think that's decent. I think he comes in as our third highest paid player at the club.
I mean, considering he's 21, it's still on the steep side. I think United were willing to go 150, but then you had to beat United, didn't we? So we did 175. I'm not saying I'm not happy with it. I'm just saying I think in general, a 21-year-old with a couple good years, I think 150 is probably the optimal kind of level there. Maybe even less, maybe not 120 really. But considering we spent so much money on him, we had so much competition, you got to do what you got to do. So 175, that's it.
Just saying, because we were talking about it when we signed it. And you were saying, like, we were talking about crazy figures. We were
200,
talking about 200, 250, these kind of figures. But 175 is, it seems a bit more right.
So we've only broken our wage structure for one player so far.
Yeah.
And that's Tonali at 250 at the moment. So I wonder, is that because we're, if we lose Romero, that's one of our top paid.
He's on 200,
He's on 200. Dragicina reportedly was on 85, which is madness. So he's gone. So all of a sudden, even though we got Tonali there, like we still got getting a lot of wage off the book. So we could even stretch that further if we wanted to. I wonder what Leao would be on. What is he on?
Let's have a look.
If we were to sign Leao, because I'm guessing he would be on a big wages. Maybe we would match him with Tonali.
So Rafael Leao is currently on, not that much, 123,000 euros a week.
So you'd say you get that to at least 200, wouldn't you?
Yeah. You'd think so.
If we signed him.
He's on about 100 grand a week in terms of pounds.
So I guess my question would be: do you see us signing anyone this summer who's going to be even more than Tonali in wages?
I don't. No, I don't, because I think all the players that we're rumoured with, I don't think will touch what Tonali's earning. I think you're looking at, like we said, Leao. I don't think he goes to as much as 250. You're looking at a Krupi. He doesn't go to as much as 250.
If we actually could get a deal for Yildiz, he would probably be that, wouldn't he?
Maybe, but he's also like pretty young. 21 years of age. So,
but he would only come, like, he really wants to stay at Juve. So I feel like he would only come if
I think the wages are big. Is just a pipe dream, though.
I agree. I'm just saying that's my point. Like, he would only come if it's ridiculous financials. You know what I mean? For both Juve and for him, I think.
Yeah.
So that's why I think if Yildiz was to get done, I think he would be similar. Yeah, Krupi wouldn't be 250, I don't think.
Krupi will be like 100.
Mamouche, I think Mamouche is on quite a lot.
Mamouche possibly, because Mamouche is coming from City, who just signed him on big wages.
Obviously, if there was, I know there's been no mention of it really, but if there was any deal for Osimhen, he would probably be on more than that.
Yeah.
People saying Rashford, I guess he would probably be on similar if we were to get him over the line. But it's possible that going up to 250 might be where we're at the moment. Like, obviously, you got improved contracts for Van de Ven and maybe whoever else signs another contract. But
maybe if we would like to bring in like a Vlahovic or something, he would probably be something.
Because he's on big wages. Yeah, he's on big wages.
Who are we talking about? Juventus?
Yildiz.
Oh, Yildiz. What's he on?
Says they're 56 grand.
Yeah. So he's not on much, but he's a young player. These young players, you don't put young players straight away on those massive wages.
I agree. I'm just saying, to get Yildiz in, you might have to.
But even if you bring Yildiz in, if he's only 50, you give him 150. You know what I mean? Like, there's still a massive pay
tripled
rise.
His wage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And then if he smashes it, in 2 years, in a year and a half, you probably up that wage. You need to give them room to grow. You can't just whack them straight on the top salary.
So if we're talking about when it comes to Tottenham and increasing the wage structure, we're talking about only increasing it by 50k. Is that enough? Are we happy with that? If that's what case is? It's
not essentially just about how much it's being upped by. It's about who we can get in. Like,
yeah.
If we're going to miss out on, the point is, I don't think we're going to be missing out on a player because of wages anymore. And that's the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter about how much we're upping it or how many players we got on this or how many players we got on that. Before, we were missing out on players because we couldn't attract the players because of the wages that we were paying. That's not a case anymore.
Yeah. And I don't think upping it to 300, let's say, I don't think it is limited to 250. I just think Tonali is going to be our highest paid player because we're not in for anyone who would be on more. Like, if we upped it to 300, let's say, like, who does that mean we can attract someone else? Who would we attract if we upped it to 300? I don't know. Compared to 250, you know what I mean? What's the difference, really?
Yeah.
So
I think Spurs would pay 300 if the right player was available. Yeah.
All right. So, well, very interesting stuff going on at Tottenham. But, yeah, looks like we know the wage structure has been smashed. And it's going to be very interesting to see if Tonali is going to be our highest paid player by the end of the window.
Yeah, absolutely. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Just quickly, just a couple more super chats before we end the stream. Anne Mulge says, not a Spurs fan. If you weren't a little worried of the Tonali announcement delay, Gibbs White PTSD.
Yeah,
I think everyone was starting to get worried. I heard the wildest rumours going on, saying he failed a medical, his gambling's relapsed, this, that. Everyone was going in.
I heard he put 250k on him to join Spurs pre-window.
Jared Campbell says, shouldn't we splash the newfound cash on Kane?
Kane, I mean, we're all for that, aren't we?
Look,
we are all for that.
We would. There is no chance Kane comes here this summer without us being in the Champions League. Best player in the world needs to be in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's nothing else to it.
The reality is he's what, 32, going to be 33 soon.
Yeah.
You just can't afford to miss a season out. Like, every season now is like big. I still think he's got plenty of years left, but he still doesn't want to waste a season outside the Champions League. He wants to be a club who's playing there every season, maximise his career, maximise his chance of winning it.
Yeah. But, at this moment in time, he's got 1 year left in his deal. So if Spurs smash it this season and, it all goes the way we think it's going to go and these players, kick off and De Zerbi is just developing this team, there is no reason why we can't bring Kane back next summer.
I agree with that.
Coys and Kin Spurs chat says the pursuit of Savinho started by Lang, but all the signings we've made except for Robertson have been pursued by Roberto De Zerbi. Lang is the issue still?
Well, it seems as though that De Zerbi is clearly having a massive say in terms of they're working together in tandem, it seems, him and Johan Lang. So I wonder what the recruitment has actually looked like. Obviously, we know a lot of these players. I guess not really Fernandes and Tonali, but a lot of the other players we're linked to that we've been speaking about before. But we have heard that obviously without a sporting director, De Zerbi's obviously taken a very active role in our recruitment and identifying prospects. So it's hard to say exactly what role Lang is playing right now. Is he just helping that process along? Has he been bringing targets to De Zerbi that they agree with? Has he been involved in the negotiation? I don't really know.
From what I've told, he's not been involved in negotiation. Negotiations all been with Vinay and Rafi Mawson.
So I don't know what his role is right now, to be honest. It's very confusing.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. He's
there. The conversations.
He's there just to make the statements on the website.
That's what it seems.
See what he's there.
Just
right
agree
now.
with De Zerbi.
Yeah,
they say it's De Zerbi.
I don't know what Johan Lang is doing at the club, but I was actually speaking to someone the other night, and then I spoke to you about it, Sim, as well. It was just like we're talking about Johan Lang, and he does need to be given credit for the youth recruitment and who he's brought in on the youth level in terms of what other sporting director has brought in a player and without him playing gets sold 50 million?
Yeah, I completely agree. And
players like Lucas Bergvall, Archie Gray, these kind of guys.
Spot on. He does that, and I think we've always given praise for that. To be fair, I think he's. I think we can all acknowledge that those, he's really good at identifying young talent, and we're potentially getting big money for them, very soon after, without even playing much for us. So he definitely deserves a lot of credit for that. I'm happy for him to continue his role doing that, for sure.
Yeah, me as well. Like, it's hard to come by this kind of stuff. You've seen like Chelsea do it and maybe not get. You've seen Man City do it. They bring in top youth and sell them on for big money. And if Spurs can just bring in a stream of money, bringing in top players from just like
another source of revenue, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just mad. And it's a big source of revenue as well. It's massive. Like 50 million for Vuskovic, 50 million for Bergvall.
That's what I was saying before. Like, objective, I know it's hard to let those players go, but objectively, it is good business, isn't it?
Yeah,
you just got to say.
Yeah, it is. 100%. As well, what I've heard is that Vinay and De Zerbi have a really good relationship, apparently. Apparently, they really like working with each other. And
let's see how long for.
Yeah, I know, but that relationship right now seems to be flourishing, and it's working off the pitch. The transfers are coming in. We all gave Vinay a lot of shit last season, and rightly so at times. But it seems as though De Zerbi and him have struck up quite a bit of a bond,
which is great.
Interesting to see how that kind of.
Yeah, but it's fine. But we've always heard. This is not to criticise Zerbi or Paul Cold-Water on the fact that it's going well at the moment. I'm just saying the problems with De Zerbi was never going to be this point. You know what I mean? He kept us up. He's shown. Everything's good at the moment for him. He's done his part. He's got all the control. He's delighted with how things are going. We're getting these signings. It's when things maybe start to, well, hopefully it doesn't fall apart completely, but it's when things are tougher. That's when you see how good the relationships really are.
Let the good times roll, people.
Yeah, 100%.
Let the good.
Maybe the bad times will never come. Maybe they'll never come.
Oh man, all of us watch. We've got 1,600 people in here. I'm sure the majority of you are Spurs fans.
It's a good point. BB says no club has backed him like this.
Yeah,
it's also very true.
100%. We have been through the shit. There's no two ways about it. We've been through so much crap over the last however many years, from sacking Pochettino to Mourinho come in and look at the players that we recruit for him. You're looking at Nuno, Conte, like all the kind of bad decisions that we've made over the years and all the recruitment fuck-ups we've made year after year. To see this all come to this point, nearly getting relegated to get to this point, I mean, everyone's just got to be delighted, aren't they? I think everyone is just
over the moon.
They just want the season to get rocking and rolling. It's exciting to be a Spurs fan again. When's the last time? You had the first 10 games under Ange. And that kind of like petered out throughout the season. You had the Europa League final, which is just like one like moment in time. But
and you had those 6 months under Conte.
And you had the 6 months under Conte.
So post-Poch, that's pretty much been it.
Yeah, literally.
And that's 7 years ago.
Maybe like the first few weeks under Jose.
No, yeah, it was more like the first few weeks of his second season when we were top of the league for a bit. But even then, it was like exciting. It wasn't exciting football, it was exciting we were top.
Yeah.
Not exactly like it was great. But yeah, I mean, that's like, apart from that, it's been slim pickings as a Tottenham fan. We've been utterly directionless. It looks like we've just been pissing in the wind, not knowing what we're doing. I mean, if you listen to Simon Jordan, we're still doing that. And I guess you have to, have a little bit of trepidation in the sense that we haven't played a game yet. So we don't, we have to see what this team's going to look like on the pitch, how they're going to gel. Is it going to take time?
Maybe we don't need to play a game.
Yeah, I think it's probably better off. I think it's probably more exciting that way. But we just got to we do have to have as exciting as this is, and I couldn't be more excited for the new season. We have to be very careful making declarations about what we're doing, where we're heading, all these kind of things, because we've seen with many teams that is this bit is super exciting, the dopamine rush of getting these signings. You envisage them, how they're going to be in the team, they look like they're perfect fits and all this kind of stuff, but you don't truly know what the team's going to look like, how they're going to play, until you see them on the pitch, until you see them gel, until you see how well they gel with what the manager wants and what problems we are going to have, because inevitably we will have problems and how we solve those problems. So it could take a bit of time. We've seen with lots of teams with lots of signings, it takes time for all of it to come together. We're essentially buying a whole new team this summer.
Yeah. So
that ain't going to happen overnight. Obviously, it's going to help that we're going to have pre-season, so hopefully that accelerates it a bit. And it's not going to be like you're going to have to wait as long as you would have, and you're not basically doing it on the fly mid-season. But still is a brand new team. It's going to take a little bit of time. So, you know, you can't expect us to be up there with the very, very best straight away.
I mean, a lot of people have said to me, well, just look at Liverpool. Look how many players they signed last summer and how bad it went for them. But, I mean, we all looked at Liverpool. I mean, me and you, we spoke about it at the end of the transfer window. We looked at Liverpool's signings and we was like, it doesn't look like a balanced squad.
That's also true.
That's the one thing I can say about Tottenham signings. They're not only just good signings, but we're balancing the squad so well. We're looking for 2 players in every position. It's not a scattergun approach where we're just bringing in this one, that one. We're bringing in precision, targeted precision. With targeted precision, you know what I mean?
It's a good point. Liverpool, as much as they were signing brilliant players and everyone was really excited, you looked at when you put the squad on paper, it's like, well, they only have 1 left winger, but they have 3 strikers. Where is Wirtz going to play a number 10 when they don't really play a number 10? Like, they're fitting him on the left when he's more of a central player. How do you fit in Ekitike and Isaac? You can't really. And then Salah, you know, can he keep up that season? No Trent as well, and they're changing him for Frimpong's a completely different player. You know, how's that dynamic going to work? So there was 100% reservations, even with they didn't sign a centre back when they only had Konate and Van Dijk. They let go of, I can't remember if they let go of one of the other centre backs. So they only had, you know, they didn't get Guehi over the line, did they? So there was that missing. So as much as that big signings, there was always problems. And I guess you're right, we're doing things in a different way. We're looking at the score. There's not many holes. Obviously, there's a few holes now, but the way we're building it, there's all the holes are plugged at the moment, so getting plugged. I mean, so that's obviously a big difference. But even so, still, when you sign as many players as we are, more often than not, it doesn't hit the ground running. I can't remember too often. I mean, you can maybe look at Chelsea and back in 2004 a while ago, where they won the league the first year.
Well, look at how many signings. I know, you know, Arsenal brought in a lot of signings in the summer, and they won the league this year.
How many? But they're building off an already settled team.
Yeah,
we're building off a 17th place team, or like completely in a mess. They're just adding a few gaps to they've got a really solid team that was second, and they're just plugging a little few holes that needed plugging and add it and beefing up the squad. We're changing the whole team. We're completely ripping it apart and basically building a whole new team. So it's different. Yeah, it's true. Very true. But look, that is it from us today. I want to big up to all of you guys for coming on today. Quick mention to OK Jersey, 15% off. Look, the kits are so cheap anyway. It's like £15, and you get a further 15% off with our code Spurs15. All your retro jerseys, all your current jerseys, the new Spurs ones are due to be on there soon. And if you're feeling very patriotic after last night, England getting to the quarterfinals of the World Cup, then you've got all your World Cup jerseys on there as well. Very cheap, top quality, so you know where to go. okjersey.com. Spurs15 is your code, and that is pinned to the live chat right here, right now. But yeah, look, we know the ever-changing Spurs transfer window, there's a very good chance we might be on at some point later on today as well. But for now, it's goodbye. Thank you everyone for joining us. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.